Hey guys, I hope y'all are doing well. I really miss y'all. Today we're going to cover Attila the Hun, so we're going to jump right in. Now this happened in the year 434 to 453, and I'm going to go ahead and read the lesson. So you don't have to watch, but feel free to listen. Attila the Hun, what a name. The very sound of it is intimidating. In the 5th century, it was more than the name of Attila that scared people. It was the man. Attila the Hun was an incredible warrior king who did serious damage to the Roman Empire. So who were the Huns anyway? They were a nomadic people who began to invade Europe from somewhere in Central Asia. Strangely, no one knows exactly where they came from. That's kind of odd. But they literally swept from the east to the west, attempting to take everything in their path. The stature and customs of the Huns are part of what made their reputation a fierce one. The Huns were short, thick people with flat noses and small pig-like eyes. Parents are said to have scarred their children's faces to teach them to tolerate suffering and pain. How horrible is that? Of course, it made them look scary too. And I'll show you all the picture of this guy. Here we go. Here we go. That must have been him. The Huns are further described as rather bow-legged people. It was probably because of how much time they spent on horses. You see, the Huns didn't migrate to Europe on foot. They stormed through on horses. It is said that they so relied on horses for their livelihood that they drank horse milk, yum, ate horse meat, and cooked food situated under their saddles as they rode. Let me read that again. It is said that they so relied on horses for their livelihood that they drank horse milk, ate horse meat, and cooked, it's in quotations, cooked food situated under their saddles as they rode. The friction of the rider against the horse supposedly did the cooking, but I wouldn't want to try it myself. Now that you have a picture of these barbaric people, imagine the man who was their king from 434 to 453. He was Attila the Hun. The Romans and Germans who feared him nicknamed him the Scourge of God. What did they fear? For one, Attila had an army of 500,000 men. That's a lot of men. That's a big army for a king without a country. I suppose that's why he went out to conquer new land. The empire he went after was the biggest one around. He went after Rome. In the year 447, Attila the Hun began his blitz of terror by invading the Eastern Roman Empire. In order to make peace, Theodosius II, the Roman Emperor of the East, agreed to pay Attila a tribute. A tribute is a large sum of money. Paying a tribute to another king is like bribing a bully. The Romans in the East basically paid Attila not to hurt them anymore. To Attila, it was a victory. To the Romans, it was humiliating. With renewed confidence, Attila decided to see what he could gain from the Western Roman Empire. In 451, Attila managed to not only receive tribute money from the Emperor of the West, but also received a gift of land south of the Danube. This spurred him on to blast through the country of Gaul, later known as France, ransacking towns and cities by killing men and capturing women. Now, I know I've made this guy sound pretty terrifying, but according to some historians, Attila was no more ruthless than Julius Caesar, whom many hold to be one of the greatest generals that ever lived. Some say Attila was in fact merciful to those he captured and treated them fairly. Supposedly, he was good to his own people and ruled them very well. As for lifestyle, Attila's was unusually simple. Although he was a king, Attila dressed in plain clothes. He ate and drank like common people, and he put luxuries aside for others to enjoy. For example, Attila's palace was formed out of nicely carved wood, but only draped with ordinary animal skins to keep out the cold. You could say he was far more practical than he was extravagant. It seems to me, then, that to develop such a fearsome image, Attila was probably more clever than he was savage. Though unable to read or write, he was obviously smart when it came to being a conqueror. Attila allowed the evil reputation of the Huns to win some of his battles before he even fought them. Well, whether it was brains or terror that made Attila the most powerful man in Europe, it didn't last. In June of 451, one of the bloodiest battles ever fought brought the fearless Attila to a stop. Both the Romans and the Visigoths, a Germanic tribe, had had enough of Attila. They joined forces together at what is called the Battle of I'm going to butcher this name. I'm going to say it phonetically. Chalons-sur-Marne. I'm pretty sure that's not how you say it. In the massive fight, 162,000 men died on the battlefield. This death toll included the king of the Visigoths, who was helping the Romans fight off the Huns. Attila survived the battle, and within a year moved southward to conquer Italy. It could have been a disaster, but somehow a church leader managed to talk Attila out of conquering the city of Rome. For reasons no one knows, Attila headed back through the Alps to where he came from. Perhaps he was retreating to make a new plan of attack, or perhaps he was giving up. What Attila didn't know was that his life was about to come to an abrupt end. Not from battle, however. In 453, Attila died in his bed from a ruptured blood vessel. It may be that he overindulged in food and drink during his own wedding festivities. His death occurred on one of his many wedding nights. The Huns never fully recovered from the loss of their king. The Romans and the Germans, however, were relieved at the news that the scourge of God no longer lived to terrorize them. What we learn from the life of Attila the Hun is that warrior-type power isn't lasting. After Attila's sudden death, his two sons divided his kingdom. Neither one was a capable ruler, and the agonizing reign of the Huns ended as quickly as it started. The name of this legendary warrior king remains in our history books, but little else exists to testify to the terror of the Huns. Okay, a couple of questions. What is a tribute? How did the Huns cook their meat? Thank you guys. I hope y'all are having a good time with your families at home. I hope y'all are staying safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.